Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. You know the drill. We take complex stuff and, well, we try to unpack it quickly but thoroughly, getting right to those key insights.
That's the goal.
Today, we're diving into a really foundational story. We're looking at excerpts from the covenant with Abram, stars, seed, and land.
A pivotal text.
Yeah, we're going to explore the promises made, the symbolism and the rituals, which is pretty wild and some really significant prophecy. We want to uncover the core ideas, maybe find some details that make you think.
And it's worth remembering with ancient texts like this, the specific words, the rituals described, they're often packed with meaning. This covenant gives us such a unique window into, well, a foundational view of promise and destiny.
Definitely sets a lot in motion.
It really does. It's more than just a story. You can almost see it as a blueprint.
So let's set the scene. We have Abram, and he's having this vision. He gets this incredible reassurance right at the start. Fear not, Abram. I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward.
Huge promise. Cosmic level protection and reward.
But almost immediately, Abram voices this very down-to-earth, very human worry. He's childless. He says, look, my steward, Eliezer of Damascus, he's my heir because, to me, thou hast given no seed. It's quite vulnerable, isn't it? Even after that big promise.
Yeah, absolutely is. It shows that even profound spiritual moments don't erase our earthly anxieties. And the response is key.
How so?
Well, it directly addresses that core fear. It doesn't rationalize, it just states, this shall not be thine heir. Not Eliezer.
Right.
But instead, he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. So direct biological lineage.
Ah, okay. So not an adopted heir, but his own son. That's a major clarification.
A complete reorientation of how the promise works, yes.
And then it gets even bigger, doesn't it? The scene shifts. He's taken outside.
Look at the night sky, yeah.
Told to look now toward heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them, which of course you can't.
Impossible.
And then the punchline, so shall thy seed be, from one heir to countless descendants.
An unimaginable number. It connects the personal hope to something vast, cosmic.
And what strikes me, and I think it's crucial for anyone listening, is Abram's reaction right after that.
Yes.
The text says, plain and simple, and he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
That's the linchpin. Belief itself.
Just belief, not works, not sacrifices before this point, just trusting the promise. That must have been, well, pretty radical for its time.
Oh, absolutely. It sort of lays down a foundational principle for so much later theology, this idea that faith, trust, is the core virtue. It challenges the whole idea of just earning favor through actions alone.
It suggests a different kind of relationship.
Exactly. And then this promise is immediately anchored, isn't it? The speaker identifies themselves again.
Right, saying, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit it. So descendants and land.
The dual promise. But Abram, well, he's practical.
He is. He asks, essentially, how can I be sure? The text says, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? He wants some kind of confirmation.
A reasonable question, given the scale of it all.
And the answer he gets involves this really specific kind of graphic ritual.
Yes, the instructions are very detailed. Take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old.
All 3 years old. And also a turtle dove and a young pigeon.
And then he has to prepare them in a very particular way.
He takes these animals, cuts them in half down the middle, and lays the pieces opposite each other. Creates a path, almost.
The path between the pieces, yes. But interestingly...
The birds. But the birds divided he not. That detail seems important.
It does. Scholars debate the exact meaning, but it's a specific exclusion. And there's another detail, too.
The scavenger birds.
Yeah, Abram having to drive away the fowls that came down upon the carcasses. He's actively protecting the sanctity of this space, this ritual setup.
It's such a vivid image, like he's guarding the covenant process itself, maybe foreshadowing the need to, protect faith from things that would pick it apart.
That's certainly one way to read it. This whole ritual, the cutting of animals, was a known way to cut a covenant back then.
Right, like making a deal.
A very serious one. The implication often was, if I break this deal, may I become like these divided animals. It's intense.
And it sets the scene for what happens next as evening comes.
The atmosphere changes dramatically. As the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram.
Not just tired, though.
No, not natural sleep. And lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him.
A horror of great darkness. That sounds terrifying. Almost supernatural.
It signals we're moving into a different kind of revelation, something profound, maybe unsettling, the kind of truth that comes when human understanding is sort of overwhelmed.
And the revelation is pretty heavy. It's a prophecy.
A long-range one, yeah. He's told point blank, "Know for a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
So exile.
And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. A long period of hardship.
But not forever. There's a promise of justice. The nation that afflicts them will I judge.
And then liberation. Afterward shall they come out with great substance. They won't leave empty-handed."
And what about Abram himself? Does he see this?
No, his personal destiny is different. He's reassured. "Thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age."
Okay, so he won't live through the affliction. And the timing of the return is specific too.
"In the 4th generation they shall come hither again." So a generational timeline.
But why the delay? Why wait 4 generations to inherit the land fully?
And here's that really crucial, maybe challenging line. "For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full."
The iniquity of the Amorites, what does that suggest?
Well, it implies a kind of divine patience or maybe a moral calculus, that the current inhabitants of the land haven't yet reached a point, a threshold of wrongdoing that warrants dispossession according to this divine plan. Justice, it seems, has its own timetable.
That's a complex idea, that consequences, or maybe divine action, waits until a certain point is reached.
It's very deep, and it plays out over generations. After this prophecy, the covenant is formally sealed.
No.
The sun finally sets, it's completely dark. And then this powerful image. "Behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that pass between those pieces."
Between the animal halves, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp. What does that symbolize?
Fire, light, divine presence, maybe judgment, purification, guidance. It's often seen as God's presence itself moving through the path, essentially taking the oath upon himself.
So God passes between the pieces, not Abram.
Exactly, which makes it an unconditional promise from the divine side. Abram is asleep in that horror of a darkness. The text underlines this. "In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram." It's initiated and guaranteed by God.
Wow. Okay, so the promise is sealed with this divine presence, and then the specifics of the land are laid out, right?
Yes, the geographical scope is defined. It's vast, stretching from the river of Egypt onto the great river, the river Euphrates.
That's a huge territory.
Massive.
Yeah.
And it even lists the peoples currently inhabiting that land, 10 distinct groups.
Can you list them?
Sure. The text mentions the Kenizzites, the Kenizzites, the Cadmonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Rephaim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites.
So it's incredibly specific about the boundaries and the current occupants. No ambiguity there.
Not at all. The promise is detailed.
Okay, so let's recap quickly. We went from Abram's very personal worry about having just one heir
to this unbelievable promise of descendants as numerous as the stars.
And the promise of a vast, specific land. We saw this intense, symbolic ritual with the divided animals.
And Abram guarding it.
Followed by that deep sleep, the horror of great darkness, and then this long-term prophecy.
Predicting hardship, yes, but also eventual return and fulfillment.
It's just packed with layers, isn't it?
It really is. This deep dive shows, I think, the power in these ancient promises and the sheer detail involved. It's not just a story, it's like a framework for understanding destiny, belief, the sweep of history.
And divine timing, perhaps.
Yes, that too. The foresight implied is quite something.
It makes you think about that long game idea. We often want things resolved now.
Naturally.
But this narrative suggests a much slower, maybe more complex unfolding. Which brings us to a final thought for you to ponder.
I know.
What does that phrase, "for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full," really suggest? Think about it in terms of timing, justice, consequences, not just in this ancient story, but maybe how things unfold more broadly. Does it hint at a kind of hidden clock, a moral tipping point that operates beyond our immediate view, something to chew on?